Here's a great question from Quora. Did Harley Davidson actually trademark the sound of their bikes? I'm Andrei Mincov, the founder of Trademark Factory, and here's my answer to this question. They tried. They filed their trademark in August of 1995, and it was filed as a non-conventional statutory trademark, which is something that's very unusual in principle. Out of millions of trademarks that have been filed in the US, only a few dozen are sound trademarks. And that's because usually when you're thinking of trademarks, it's either a word or a phrase or a logo. So non-conventional trademarks like sound, smells are extremely unusual. So what Harley Davidson did, they filed their trademark. They filed it for in connection with their bikes, so that the goods and services were bikes. And in the description of their trademark, they said that it's the sound produced by the exhaust pipes of their bikes. And after a long back and forth with the Trademarks Office actually approved their application for publication. But because it was such an unusual case, people noticed. So after the Trademarks Office approved their trademark, it went to publication. The whole 9 companies opposed it. So there were 9 oppositions against Harley Davidson trademark application. And again, after years and years of going through those opposition proceedings, at some point they say, you know what, to hell with that. We're going to drop the application. We're going to let it die. And that's really what ended the whole dispute. So Honda and Suzuki and some other companies who said, you can't really own this sound because there had been other manufacturers before you that used this sound, and it's really a mechanical sound that any of us can produce. So after, like I said, after this back and forth at the opposition stage, Harley Davidson dropped the application, let it die. And so to answer your question, did they actually trademark it? They tried, but they didn't succeed. So they don't currently own the registration for the sound, although they said in their post-opposition PR statements that said that even though they don't own the registration, they still claim to own a common law right to the sound and would pursue it if they chose to, and if they saw that somebody was trying to imitate their sounds. So that's really the answer in a nutshell. It's fascinating because non-traditional, non-conventional trademarks are so rare that of course they draw attention. And if the other, for example, the other non-conventional sound trademark that was successfully registered in US and actually was the first sound trademark to have ever been registered in Canada is the MGM's Roaring Lion. So you can, in theory, trademark sounds that identify a particular product or a service, identify the source of a particular product or a service. And in the case of Harley Davidson, they just couldn't convince the opposition board. And it was a business decision because, again, if they threw more money at it, they may have gotten it. And at some point they say, you know what, we've been at it for 6 years, we're done. So I hope this answers your question, gives you a little bit of context. And if you found it interesting, make sure you subscribe because we post videos like this every single day. And if you got a question for me that you would like answered, if it has anything to do with trademarks or branding, make sure you post your comment below and I'll do my best to answer your question. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.